Whoa there! Welcome to the King Arthur event, a brand new theme with a familiar minigame. And if you can't tell, I'm having fun with this video. This event is a bit of a showcase of everything that the developers have to offer for events. A completely new theme with artwork, city effects, and animations, a unique, one-time only story told through the questline and minigame visual storytelling, tweaks to the random tiles minigame, and even a special questline. Let's take a look at everything that you need to know, starting with the buildings. You might think that event buildings tend to be boring, but you might just want to take a closer look at these ones because they are a fairly big step up in power. The main event building has a full suite of normal, silver, gold, platinum, and ascended upgrades, and at its platinum level it offers just about everything important. Decent amounts of population and happiness, large army boosts, including for defending armies in the quantum incursions, forge points, goods, and fragments of the side buildings, plus 1/3 of the fragments needed for one mass self-aid kit each day. It is not the strongest building for any of these productions, but it is fairly powerful for having all of them in somewhat large quantities. When ascended, all the productions increase, and some new ones are added, including a 4% forge point and 2% goods boost, with some quantum actions included for good measure. In essence, this one is going to be a building that has a use for nearly every player, and you may be able to get multiple, but more on that in the strategy section. The ascendable side buildings it gives fragments of are fairly powerful, if fairly standard. One focuses on significant attacking army boosts, while the other defense, with the round table giving a forge point boost and the sword in the lake giving a goods boost when ascended. These ones are among the best in class for ascended buildings, so keep an eye out for them. In fact, you can get an Ascended Sword in the Lake from this event video's giveaway, as this video was produced in collaboration with InnoGames. Enter via the form in the description. The giveaway closes in 2 weeks, so good luck! To keep the main building ascended, you will need the calendar building, the True King's Excalibur. It is the strongest building for population behind the Eternal Market, has strong army boosts, and has an incredible potential for large forge point and goods collections on top of the ascended upgrade fragments for the main building. Obviously, this one is quite the treat, so it is going to take a fair amount of work and a little bit of luck to get it, but we'll talk more about that later. The last building you may be able to get for free is the Merlin's Council. It requires a significant amount of population, but gives some strong army boosts, previous age goods, and some fragments of useful items. You can get one of these from completing the entire calendar, but any more of them will need to come from spending a lot of diamonds, so I'll cover that in the spending section at the end of this video. Also, I almost never mention the Gold League buildings in my video, but I am making an exception because this one has an animated dragon. It's also quite strong in terms of the boost it provides, but I think we can all agree that the important thing is the animated dragon. Besides really powerful buildings, this event also brings 3 new allies that are notable because they are the first to offer things other than army boosts. Each offers 6 next stage units at the rare rarity and a special skill at the legendary rarity. Each provides a chance for the next 200 units of a certain type used in the guild battlegrounds to gain either contact, MIRV, or flying after collecting the building containing Arthur, Morgan, or Merlin, respectively. Now onto the minigame. It may look a little bit different, but it is simply a reskin of the classic random tiles minigame where you can spend 10 of your royal favors, the event's currency, to save one of the burning villages and receive a reward. Note that despite looking different, the castle tile doesn't give any special reward or anything. It's the same as the other villages. Each village also gives 1 to 2 progress towards the grand prizes. Most of the villages just give rewards like goods, forge points, or notably some fragments of wishing wells or their shrink kits, but there are some special tiles that you do need to keep an eye out for. The shuffle tile will completely reset the board, giving you a new start, and it refunds your 10 royal favors. The show 2 reveals 2 of the unvisited villages rewards and gives 3 royal favors. The double gives you twice the reward of the next village you visit. There is always a tile that gives you a Camelot coin, which is the currency for one of the event's shops. The Dragon Steel Ingot will open the door to the calendar item for today, or will give you 1 of 5 shards needed to assemble an ingot, and 10 royal favors if you've already opened the calendar item for today. And finally, the Merlin Seal will give 1 of 3 fragments needed to start a superboard with much better rewards. Note that you will see either the Dragon Steel Ingot or the Merlin Seal, not both. The ingot appears on about 20% of the boards, while the seal appears the other 80% of the time. Once you get 3 Merlin Seal fragments, your next board will be a super board. On these, the shuffle is removed, you get twice each of the double and show 2 tiles, a guaranteed Dragonsteel ingot, a village with 4 Camelot coins, and one with 1 Pendragon coin. That's the currency for this event's second item shop. You also get double progress, with it now giving 2 to 4 progress per house. There are plenty of other rewards that will show up on these boards too, and they are quite good compared to the normal boards. From a sample of 100 super boards, these are the items I saw with the proportion of boards that I saw them on. Note that this is a small sample size, so don't take any of the odds as set values, they are likely different. The notable items here are the fragments for the main event building, the event currency you can get, and even the occasional Finish All Specials production item, though that last one is quite rare. Once you press the start button for a super board, you will have to clear the entire thing or wait until the midnight reset to move on to a new board. Note that it shows the time until the reset at the bottom of the minigame. You will have some boosters to help you on your way in this event. The Mists of Avalon removes 1 village from the board, making you unable to win that reward. However, it does spare the double show 2 ingot, seal, and the shop currencies. The shuffle can be destroyed, and if it is, you have to clear the entire board to move on to the next one. These will come into play for the strategies later, but they are really useful when you want to make sure that you get a reward that's on the board. Simply use the mists until the shuffle is destroyed, and you are guaranteed to win the reward you want. The Lady of the Lake blessing is very useful for getting the most of a reward if you know where it is on the board. Using this booster, the next tile you open will cost no royal favors, give a doubled reward, and will reveal 2 other rewards on the board. The doubling bonus stacks with the double tile, meaning that you can quadruple a reward if you play it right. The third booster is Merlin's All-Seeing Eye, which reveals the position of the shuffle, show 2, and double on the board. It's a good way to avoid the shuffle without spending a ton of mists, and can help you set up a quadrupled reward with the blessing, thanks to it also revealing the show 2 and double. You start with 1 each of these boosters, but can get more from this event's mini challenge, and can buy some in the event shops. If you've played an event with this minigame before, then you know that it usually features a calendar of rewards that you can complete. This event is no exception, but it does bring a new twist. The calendar has 32 items that you can get, with each slot unlocking on that day of the event. This is the total list of items available for each slot as it was on beta, and largely it is all focused around summer event stuff. There's nothing too crazy. There is a Finish All Special production item on day 1, some Ascendant kits that might be useful, but the real value of the calendar comes from its milestone rewards. For opening any 10 of the calendar slots, you receive a Portrait of Merlin, a silver selection kit for the main building, a selection kit for the side buildings, a week of Forge Plus, and most importantly, the Excalibur Reforged questline. Getting this questline will have it show up in the normal event quest window in a separate slot, and it consists of a series of 21 quests giving 25 royal favors. That's an extra 525 event currency. Also, you will need to complete this extra quest line to reach the Eternal Market fragments in the event quest milestones. None of the quests are especially difficult, and you do get a Portrait of Lancelot for completing the Reforged quest line. You'll need the event currency from that questline to attempt to open all 32 doors of the calendar, for which you get a Portrait of King Arthur, the True King's Excalibur building. That's the one with the massive Forge Point and Goods collections, the only free Merlin's Council you can get, Platinum and Ascended upgrades, and a golden selection kit for the main event building, and 100 fragments of the Eternal Market. And it's what I believe most players should set as their goal in this event, and I'll be laying out the strategies needed to get it. If you were hoping mini challenges would return to events, you will not be disappointed. Starting on the second day of the event is a 30-day long questline with 1 quest unlocking per day. The rewards are fairly decent: 100 mists, 10 blessings, 5 Merlin's Eyes, 30 Valor tokens for the allies, 5 Dragonsteel shards, that's enough for 1 calendar item, and 5 Pendragon coins for completing the whole thing. The quests are fairly straightforward. For example, visit 2 villages. Visit 4 villages and find a shuffle. What is the average cost of a Dragonsteel ingot in the minigame? Just kidding on the last one there. The quests are only focused on doing some things in the minigame. Visit some number of villages and usually find a specific reward on the board. The big trick here is that you do not have to complete each quest each day. You can let a few stack up at the time and complete them in bursts. I'll be posting the questline of the challenges over on my website at ubernerd14.com/mini/art26. As far as I know, the quests have not changed since beta, but the rewards have, so I'll update the website as we go. Be sure to keep an eye on them to plan ahead. The link is in the description. There are 2 item shops in this event. The Camelot market is where you spend Camelot coins, and the Pendragon Horde is where you spend Pendragon coins. The Camelot market contains basically all the old summer event buildings, some ascended kits, including the Drekki totem upgrades, resources, consumables, and then the 2 most valuable things, boosters and a Pendragon coin. It's important to note that there is a limit of 20 Camelot coins. When you start getting close to that limit, you're going to want to buy something. There are also 2 50% discounts in this shop that get shuffled around when the shop refreshes. The shop refreshes once per day for free, but you can also manually refresh it once for free and then for 1 Camelot coin per refresh. I would highly recommend trying to buy the items you want when they are discounted, but make sure you are always staying below the limit of 20 Camelot coins. Remember that superboards give 4 Camelot coins and that those coins can be doubled, so it is very easy to hit the maximum limit if you are not careful. The Pendragon Horde, on the other hand, has no such limits on coins. It doesn't even refresh at all. It has the strongest selection of items, including upgrades from the main event building, the ascended side buildings, the 3 new allies. This is the only place to get them. You can get fragments of the Eternal Market, portraits, some of the stronger side buildings from the previous summer events, 1 down kits, resources, and boosters. You might wind up needing some of these boosters to complete the calendar cheaply, so it's something to keep an eye out for. With all that out of the way, I think it's time to take a look at the strategies, starting with our available event currency. We're looking at just shy of 4,100 royal favors, not including any incidents. However, this does include both the daily challenge and the bonus quest line you get from the first calendar reward for opening 10 items. Also note that the event quests are a little different than they normally would be. For example, there are a lot that require you to collect incidents, visit taverns, or aid other players. If you want to rush the questline, I would recommend against auto-aiding and tavern sitting or collecting all your incidents immediately. The grand prize milestones you want to reach are going to be 1,120 for the main event building at level 6, 1,160 for the platinum upgrade. Note that you would still need to place the level 6 to get the silver and gold upgrades or gain those fragments from the minigame. The last milestone is 1,200 progress for the Eternal Market fragments. However, the Eternal Market is a special case in this event. For the first time, you can get 1,200 fragments of the Eternal Market from this event instead of the usual maximum of 1,100. To get the standard 1,000 that you need for a full kit, you need to either complete the calendar or spend 5 Pendragon coins. This can save you some Pendragon coins if you complete the calendar, but you may also want the extra fragments. I leave that choice to you. In this event, my recommendation for most players is to complete the calendar, due to the reward for doing so being so strong, and so that's what the strategies here will be based around. Going for the calendar means that by the end of the event, we need 32 Dragon Steel ingots. This may sound impossible as the ingots only appear on 1 out of 5 boards, but the trick is to actually prioritize Merlin's seals to get more super boards instead of trying to find the ingots on normal boards. Super boards are guaranteed to have the calendar key, and you even get more progress and better rewards from the super boards. In the interest of getting lots of seals, here's how you play. On normal boards, if there is the seal on the board, visit 2 or 3 villages. If you get the seal, double or show 2 tiles, just keep playing until you find the shuffle. If you do not open the seal, double or show 2 tiles in those first few villages, use a Merlin's All-Seeing Eye to reveal the special tiles. Then you want to use the Mists of Avalon until there are only 3 hidden rewards left on the board. If you do it right, it should look something like this, the show 2 and double shown with 3 hidden rewards. You may also have the shuffle still there if the mists didn't destroy it. Regardless, open the show 2, which reveals 2 of the hidden rewards. This lets you know exactly where the seal is. Either it's one of the 2 rewards revealed, or it's the final hidden reward. Now open the double tile, then enable the Lady of the Lake Blessing booster, and finally open the seal. This gives you 4 seals, which instantly makes your next board a super board. Simply finish out this board by opening the remaining items or taking the shuffle if it's still there. On the super board, you get a guaranteed calendar key along with strong items and more progress. Just play through it normally, you generally don't need to use boosters here. The few exceptions I would make would be if you happen to get lucky with the revealed rewards, such that you can quadruple the 24 or 28 Royal Favors rewards, or a few occasional instances of other rewards you may really want, such as Pendragon coins or the like. If you're worried about the calendar, you can even try to quadruple some ingots. Remember that you need at least one blessing per eye to quadruple the seals on the normal boards, so I wouldn't spend any more than what would keep those two values equal. Once clearing a super board, you are done for the day since you've secured the ingot that you need for the calendar. Also, on normal boards, if you happen to see the ingot, I would actually just play the board normally. You should get enough ingots from the super boards that you don't need to go out of your way to save the ones on the normal boards, and this helps you save your boosters to keep making more super boards. Overall, this strategy is fairly expensive in terms of boosters. You need about 8 or 9 mists, 1 blessing, and 1 eye per board you play to quadruple the seal. This means that at the start of the event, it's likely that you will not have the boosters to fully push the strategy, as the mini challenge won't have ramped up quite yet. That's okay. I would focus on trying to build up some shop currency to buy more boosters to supplement those from the mini challenge. Realistically, you will need to spend a significant amount of your Camelot and Pendragon coins on boosters to make the strategy work. Probably buying out the eyes and mists in the Pendragon shop and or spending a good amount of Camelot coins in the Camelot shop on Pendragon coins and boosters to fund more super boards. However, you can absolutely afford it, and in my opinion, it is absolutely worth it, especially if you use your Camelot coins when discounts are available. With this strategy, I would estimate a total of around 150 Camelot coins and over 30 Pendragon coins, not including the spending of those coins on boosters, with well over the progress thresholds that I mentioned earlier being possible. Do remember also that you do not need to get the Dragonsteel ingot each day. In fact, you probably won't be able to, especially at the start. That's okay. You'll probably miss a few ingots at the start of the event, then as the event goes on, you'll be able to backfill those calendar doors with the ingot shards you pick up while playing. If it feels like you might fall short, feel free to quadruple some of the ingots on the super boards. While it may be tempting to blow a lot of event currency to get ingots in the first third of the event to get the first calendar reward and start the Excalibur Reforged questline, don't waste your event currency or boosters trying to force it. The Reforged questline isn't anything hard to complete, so there's no urgent need to rush getting it. If you're at the end of the event and still missing a few rewards from the calendar, you will have to spend diamonds to get the extra ingot shards. If you do decide to do that, know that it is much cheaper to just buy the shards rather than buying more royal favors to find the shards in the minigame. It winds up being 500 diamonds per 5 Dragonsteel shards. Odds are, if you play smart and don't get super unlucky, you will not have to spend more than a couple thousand diamonds to complete the calendar. Now earlier I did mention that it could be possible to get multiple of the main event building. Here's how you do it if you want to. Getting 1120 progress gives you all 6 kits you need for the first building, with 1160 progress giving you the platinum upgrade for it. For the second building, the leagues give an extra kit as long as you place in the top 50%. The first calendar reward gives a silver selection kit. The calendar completion reward gives a gold selection kit and an extra platinum upgrade kit. And using those selection kits for the base building, you would only need 3 more normal upgrades, and odds are you can get those fragments from the super board. Also, note that if you are desperate to get the silver and gold upgrades right away, the super board is again an option, or you can just buy them from the Pendragon Horde. While you can get an absolute boatload of good stuff for free in this event, honestly it's kind of insane, there are of course some things to consider if you want to spend some diamonds or real world money. As before in Events of the Silk, there is a system where when you open a shuffle, show 2, or double on the board, you also get a little grimoire which you can use to get rewards for diamonds. The grimoires page shows you 2 pools of items at the same time, and you can choose which items you want to add to your list that will cost 3,000 diamonds to purchase. You can also redraw other items from each pool by using this button. You can see the other items in the pool by pressing the question mark button. Once you've chosen 7 items, you have to spend the 3,000 diamonds to buy the ones you chose and to start filling in a new set of grimoires. There are 16 unique pools of items. One pool is the set of items shown on one side of the grimoires, and here are all the items available with the number of pools they appear in. Note that there were some changes from beta to live, so I'm not certain of the availability of certain items. There's a wide range of rewards, including event currency and boosters, the Finish All Special Production Kits, the Merlin's Council building, and more. This is the only place you can get Merlin's Council outside of the calendar completion reward and the Gold League. Note that if you want to buy a large amount of royal favors, it is not cheaper to do so via the grimoires. This is different from some of the previous events with this mechanic. For a full set of grimoires containing only favors, the average result is 12 diamonds per favor. Buying favors directly in the minigame costs a minimum of 11.9 diamonds per favor, so keep that in mind. Anyways, some final things before I close this video out. As this is a one-time event with a unique story, I have gone to the trouble of recording the entire story. It's practically a novella and is quite campy if you like that thing, and I will have the full story from the questline posted over on my website. The link is in the description. I know a lot of folks will skip past the story in this event, so I wanted to preserve it. Also, a fun side note is that the welcome event got updated to an Arthurian theme, with the main reward changing from the Buccaneer's Bay to the Camelot. If you start a new world with the start of this event, you could likely get 1 Camelot from the welcome event, and then even more from the main event. The welcome event only lasts 5 days, so you would barely miss out on anything. You could probably also get the Thea statue if you have the Legends A/B test active on your account, but I digress. That about wraps up all the info that you need to maximize the Arthur event. There's a lot different here, but a lot is also the same. What do you think? Which rewards are you targeting? Let me know in the comments or over on my Discord server linked below, and as always, I'll see you all next time.